folks that are listening, and I've kind of fallen trapped to this as well, is initially when you're starting off, you're going to pick whoever has the money, essentially. Whoever is meeting you at your value level, you're probably going to take on as a
Yeah.
client because you're starting off, right? You just want to get your feet wet. But then once you get at your level, essentially, now you can start filtering, and you have like basically an onboarding process where they might fill out a form, they might have an application, then you might have a discovery call. And through those steps, you're learning about them. How quickly are they responding? What is their attitude level, like you mentioned? Are they arrogant coming in here? Because sometimes businesses will hire a consultant and then feel like the business owner is teaching the consultant. And that doesn't make a lot of sense because you just paid for somebody's professional opinion. Get their opinion, right? See it, try it out, test it, because the consultant is coming in from a third-party perspective and obviously built on experience. So they might have some antidote, they might have some medicine for your business that you just need to try, right? Give it a shot. And then from the consultant standpoint, what I've learned is I may not always have the right answer either, because the business owner is so close to their business processes. Sometimes they just know when something is not going to work. Like, hey, I literally tried that last week, failed miserably. I don't want to waste your time going through the same process again. So they kind of put their foot down. And so in those situations, what I do is I kind of take like this curious tone. And that's why I said pandering earlier, which is more like, kissing their butt, essentially, to say like, oh, great. Why don't you teach me? Tell me why this is not working. And so we'll kind of go through this diagnosis process of them kind of explaining and walking through all of those pitfalls. And then wherever there's an issue where I see, oh, okay, they're definitely missing this one piece, let me introduce that as a third-party perspective to say, okay, I wonder what our customers would think in that situation. Do you think they would either think A or would they think B? And then now I'm really, like you just said, right, kind of manipulating or moving them along, nudging them into a possible solution that was ultimately my goal. But you want to make it look like it was their idea. So I think that's pretty impressive that you're filtering folks coming in now. And how many clients do you have today? Or, let's say up to this year, like let's talk some numbers.
I have 3 anchor clients and then a bunch of smaller clients. So I used to have a lot more sort of medium-sized clients. But what I've realized is that I don't get as involved as I would like. So what I've done is I've focused on sort of a few bigger clients. And then I also do a lot of mentoring. And that's something that I've been doing for 8 years or so. And a bit like consulting, what I've realized is that half of the value that you provide is the actual work, the numbers, the revenue, the customers. And the other half of it is the value that your client perceives. So I, for example, hate writing pitch decks. I hate writing update decks. But what I've come to realize is that you have to do that in order for your client to appreciate the value that you've provided them. You have to provide context to the numbers, and you have to explain the why. And that took me a while to understand, because when I was a founder, I had a team and they were fantastic and they were definitely the cause of my success. But at the same time, I knew what I knew, and I didn't realize that my clients didn't understand what I knew. And so you have to sort of educate them on the why and the process and the decision making as part of that. A bit of a side note, but I learned that from working with an American chap. I was a consultant and we partnered on a few projects, and he said we were peers, which was very nice of him, but really I was working for him. And what he was amazing at was this ability to understand what the customers were looking for and be able to articulate it in a way that made sense to them. And what was also interesting is that that's kind of what we're doing with our clients, our clients' clients. If you're a B2C or even a B2B project, it's not just about creating a good product. You have to make it in such a way that your clients or their clients understand the value that your product provides. And that's been a difficult learning, because it took a lot of fails in order to do that. But yeah, I see it as like the work that you do and the consulting aspect of as well. And I really enjoy that, because I think it's very personal, it's very empathetic, it requires you to truly understand the people and understand their motivations. Perhaps it's different if you're working at McKinsey or a bigger business, but when you're working with sort of tech startups, that's kind of the perception I see.